So I want to talk about what to do when, as a leader, you feel overwhelmed. And I'll start by talking about a story. Here's my life as a young man. I had a young family, needed to make some extra money. And so I thought, well, I'll go umpire baseball. And when I thought about baseball as an umpire, I thought there was only two major decisions you make in the game. You decide ball or strike, and then safe or out. And I thought, well, I can do that. What's the big deal? I love baseball. I've played it. I've watched it my whole life. I can do that. But then they handed me the rule book. And in this rule book were so many rules that were very intricate. And you could read them over and over again, and they were hard to even picture in your mind. And so I found out to umpire baseball, I had to know how to do these rules. And these rules applied pressure on me. I would drive to the games and I'd feel the pressure of, okay, what do you do when someone balks? What do you do when the person moves like this? When is a player out of the baseline? And these rules put so much pressure on me. But that's not where it stopped. There was also people on the field called coaches, usually about six of them total, maybe more. And the fear is, okay, how do I talk to coaches? How do I deal with coaches? Coaches put pressure on you. They ask you questions. Will I know the answer? And this became an element that added a lot of pressure. And then, of course, you have on each team, you have, 15 to 20 players. So the players are everywhere. And you got to know how to deal with the players. Sometimes they have an attitude. Sometimes they do things in the game that are really weird. And you have to know how to respond to the way they move. They may do things while they're playing that are illegal, and you have to know what that is. By the way, as you know, there are also fans in the game of baseball, and there's some for one side and some for the other, and there's a lot of them. And you have to know how to deal with the fans because you're going to hear a lot from them. So that's a lot of pressure in itself. So I think this applies to all leaders. There's many facets of your life and leadership. Your business life and maybe employees, maybe your coworkers, maybe investors, your clients, your customers, and then you have your home life. You have a spouse, you have kids, you have parents, you have siblings, you have all these things. Oftentimes, as a leader, we think we have to figure out how to do different. And so we might think, okay, I need to figure out this rule. This rule can be very complex. It may take 2 weeks of study and preparation and video work and coaching from someone else to understand that rule. Well, if you look at the picture, you're still surrounded by all of these other elements, and all you've done is correct this one thing. Well, okay, let me figure out how to deal with coaches. And so you can spend time trying to figure out what do you do when a coach says a certain thing. This can be a very long process. If you want to get better as a leader, here's what I found. The best thing to work on is the person right in the middle. Work on that person. When that person becomes better, not at doing, but being, then they get better at all of it organically. The byproduct of that person in the middle of this mess getting better, the byproduct is that everything gets better with it. As an umpire, I didn't learn all the rules. I didn't figure out how to handle all the coaching situations. I didn't study all this stuff around me. I just gained more confidence in me. This brings me to what I want to say. If as a leader you feel overwhelmed, where do you start if you're an overwhelmed leader? Start by improving your me ability, the ability to be comfortable and confident in your own skin. I used to live as an umpire, afraid of all these things around me. I can't change everything around me. I can't control everything around me. What I could do is become more confident in who I was as a person. I could become more clear on my role. And when anything around me happened, I could be the person who could simply show up and serve and do my part. I can't control everything, but I can serve in everything. So, me ability is the ability to be confident in your own skin, even though everything around you has elements of chaos. You can be confident in yourself. Now, me ability, I'm going to give you the shortcut, what I believe is the shortcut to becoming confident in your own skin, and that is to get clarity on this thing called purpose. It is the most fundamental aspect of being human, is simply being able to know your purpose. When you can state your purpose, it removes so many variables of questions and doubts. When you know your purpose, it changes how you show up for everything. Before, as an umpire, I thought I had to figure out all of these things. The truth is, you can't. There's no way that you can perfect all of this, control all of this. What I decided is what I could do with all of this is serve all of this. My role was not to control the game or perfect the game. My role was to serve the game. When I became clear on my purpose, it raised my me ability. And my me ability enabled me to be the person that was prepared for everything that came my way. If you need help with knowing your purpose so you can increase your me ability, so that you can be ready for all these things that are coming at you all the time, you can look me up at markdelaney.com.